Hi friends, welcome back to my channel Testing Mini Bytes. I am your friend Amnon Saktivel. In this video, we will see how we can use design patterns in test automation, right? This is a pretty much new playlist that I'm trying to create. I will try to cover what are all the design patterns that we can use in test automation, right? So we need to understand what is design patterns first, right? So if you notice, we normally tend to face a lot of problems in our real life. For example, we are now facing a COVID situation across the world, right? What we have learned from that, we need to maintain social distancing, we need to wear some masks, and then we also need to take some precautions, and if there is a vaccine available, please do take it, right? These are all the solutions that we have learned from our previous problems, right? These are the problems that we faced, and then we have a certain solution for them. The same way, if you are facing some issues in your design, right, software design, there are already some patterns available as a ready-made solutions. You can pick them up and then use it in your particular use case, right? So we need to mainly understood where we can use this in and when to use which particular design pattern. That is the one of the trickiest task to do, but we also need to remember that we should not try to force fit a design pattern, right? So we just because you want to use a design pattern, you should not force fit it. I have seen a lot of people in test automation try to use a singleton pattern for WebDriver, right? If they want to do singleton, then it is not recommended to use in multi-threaded environments. But in Selenium automation, we normally tend to have a multi-threading environment, right? So we can also shield it singleton to work in multi-threaded environment, but basically we are overdoing something, right? Just to fit a design pattern, we are doing a lot of things wrong, right? Don't try to forcefully fit a design pattern. That is something very wrong. So if there is a problem that has a predefined solution using design patterns, then you can use it, right? So design patterns are basically three types. One is your creational, and other one is structural, another one is behavioral, right? Creational deals with all the object and class instantiation, right? For example, your builder pattern, factory method, abstract factory, all those comes under creational. And you also have structural design pattern, where you can think about a facade and a lot of other structural design patterns. You also have behavioral design patterns like observer and chain of responsibility. A lot of design patterns comes under this as well. We'll not dive deep now, but we'll get into one particular design pattern what we can use in test automation. While doing it, you can understand how this is belong to this particular category, right? Okay, now this is the first design pattern that we're going to use in our test automation framework. Okay, so this is a creational kind of design pattern. We'll understand how this is, why we are telling this is a creational design pattern. And the problem statement that we are trying to solve is number of parameters to your constructor is more. Suppose, let's say you are creating an Pojo for your test automation, rest assured framework. While doing that, you are passing more more parameters to the constructor. I have seen people passing 10 parameters to the constructor or more than that. So that is really wrong, right? So the readability is missing, and we'll also see what are the other issues that we face. And what we are trying to achieve is we need to have an option that we can ignore some parameters at the runtime. So to do all these things, the design pattern that we can use is builder design pattern, right? So the usage where we are going to use it is a rest assured framework while constructing request, basically using pojos, right? Good. So there are different implementations available to implement this builder pattern, but one among them is using an external builder class. We'll see how to do that in subsequent videos. We will see the other ways of doing it, right? Without wasting much time, let's go to the you know uh, okay. So I have already my JSON server up and running. I have my local JSON server up and running in this particular port, but this is least bothered about now because we are going to focus only on the design pattern, right? So this is a basic simple test that I have created. If you notice, I have an employee class, okay, that has a constructor, okay, that has some constructor, and it receives all this name, address, ID, and a boolean value is contractor from the test class, and it constructs it. It also has a getter method. For that, you need a getter method to serialize it. Okay, we have this everything working fine, right? So let's try to run it. So this is a simple rest assured code that I have written. Um, I'm setting the base URI. I am setting the content type that I'm going to pass as JSON. I'm trying to all the log the request what I'm constructed, and I'm passing in the body. I'm passing the POJO, right? And then I'm posting to this particular endpoint. Okay, this is the endpoint that we are trying to post, where we already have a lot of employees. We're gonna post more employees, right? We're gonna get a 201 response. So I'm using a assert J library to assert the response, right? This particular JSON server needs a random ID every time. So I'm generating random ID using Faker, Java Faker library. Pretty much simple code. If you run this code, okay, this is a very simple code. So it has constructed a request. If you notice, what of the value that you have passed, it constructed the request, and our test case got passed, right? Pretty simple code. But if you notice now at the runtime, I want to ignore certain values. Let's say if is contractor, this is not a mandatory parameter. If it is not coming, I want to ignore it. Okay, so how can I do that? If you are only using constructor, the only thing that you can do is you can go here and then you can create another constructor. Okay, let's use a constructor, and you have to use all the threes, and then you have to create it. Now, then you can overload this particular constructor, and then you can ignore it, right? You can do this. But again, suppose I want to ignore this one, right? Then again, I want to ignore the name, then you have to create one more constructor. So if the number of parameters is more like 15 or 10, basically you are creating a lot of constructors, and it's not readable, right? You cannot understand what this does. Okay, if there are a lot of parameters here, it is very difficult for you to read. In this case, you can go for a builder pattern. So let's do that. Okay, for doing that, we're going to use a external class. Okay, I'm creating a new class called as employee builder, which is more recognized name that indicates we are using this to build an employee class. Okay, yeah, we have created an employee builder class. Now the first thing what you need to do is you have to copy all the things that you are having here. Okay, let me remove this. We don't need this anymore. Yeah, copy this and paste it here. Okay, and while generating the you don't have to generate the constructor here. We will use a set methods. Okay, let's do alt and insert, and you have an option to create a setter method. Yeah, I want to do all of them. I can choose a builder design, right? You don't have to use IntelliJ default, otherwise you need to do some changes for that. So I am using builder so that it can automatically return this, and then employee builder, right? That's a cool thing that's coming from your IntelliJ, right? We have now the setter method ready. So let's try to construct the same thing now using builder pattern, right? Let's comment this out. Control is it, and let me comment this out and then create a new one. Okay, so new employee builder. This time we are using employee builder dot set. I want to ignore say contractor, so I will set the remaining things. Okay, let's say I'm setting Amazon and dot set address. Let's say I'm setting the address as Mumbai this time. Okay, okay, and I also want to set the ID because that is a mandatory parameter in this particular request. So let's get it from generate random ID, right? Good. If you notice, this is more readable than before, right? But we need to build an employee object. Suppose this will give me an employee builder, but I want an employee object. So what we can do, and go to this employee builder, and we will create a method called build. Okay, public, that gonna return me employee, right? And build. Okay, return new employee, and whatever the things that you have here, you can pass it. Yeah, name, address, and you also have ID. You also have is contractor, right? Which, so at the end, what they need to do in the code, they need to call the build method. Okay, dot build. So now this will give you employee object, right? This is more readable, right, than the before case. Again, if you want to ignore address, you can also do that. Okay, this is pretty cool. Again, there is also way to optimize this code, but we'll see that later. But for now, we'll understand whether this is working. So we have ignored two parameters. One is the Boolean and other one is the address, right? Let's try to run it and see whether it is working. Yeah, if you notice, it is working absolutely fine, right? Good. So we have ignored them at the runtime. The same way, you can also optimize this if you don't want to call a constructor. Rather than that, you can also try to use an static method here. Let's say I shield my employee build constructor. This is another version of it. Okay, nothing big. You can also use the older way, and then here you can use employee builder. The name of this method can be builder, that actually return you the employee builder, right? Sorry guys, I have to add the new. Yeah. Good. Now from here, if you want to call it in the code, instead of this, you can just tell employee builder dot builder, right? So sorry guys, it has to be a static method, right? Because I need to access it without creating an object, right? So now say this and go here, it'll obviously work. There is also way that you can add more readability. Okay, to do that, okay, you can go to this employee builder again. You can add methods like let's say I'm having methods like public employee builder, and let's name it as and, which basically does nothing but just return you this. Okay, and then you can also add methods like employee builder. Okay, sorry guys, there is some problem with my keyboard. Let's take width. Okay, basically these are for nothing, so they just gives us more readability. Okay, good. Let's go here and then set the name and yeah, and then set the id and set this. With all this value, you build it, right? Again, you can also create a method called perform and then do all these things instead of build. Okay, so now the code is more readable, and this is how we can implement a design pattern, build a design pattern in our test automation framework. So let's see whether it is working fine. Okay, it has again constructed the request clearly and then it has sent it, right? This is what we want, but this time with more readability, we could able to achieve this. Again, guys, this code is can be optimized. We can use different ways of implementing builder classes. We will see that in the coming videos. If you like the video, please do subscribe to the channel and share it with your friends. And thank you guys. We will see you in another great video. Tata, bye bye.